This right here is the most popular game on Steam right now, and it's not even released yet. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and of course from Slavic Magic, the developer of, and also Hooded Horse, the publisher of this game. Yeah, this is Manor Lords, and this game has the most wish lists on Steam, and it's incredibly popular now as the 2-week campaign for content creators and streamers to showcase Manor Lords is coming to an end. On April 26, 2024, everybody can finally play this game as it drops in early access, and the developer is a little worried, has some words for us, and I think some of their caution is justified. We'll talk about all that in just a second, but really, Manor Lords, as I've been playing it, has been a game that is definitely living up to the game that I thought it would be, which is basically a dream game of a bunch of games put together from the past. Games for me like the Sierra games, those city builders from long ago, like Pharaoh and Emperor, but also feeling a little bit like Banished too. Games that are very popular and also changed the city builder genre for the better over many years, with also some combat in it. It's really looking to be an amazing game that is a lot of fun to play, and I could say that I'm even, over 100 plus hours in, ready for more. So, the developer has posted something on Steam, a little hey FYI, this is what this game is, by telling you what this game is not. And it is quite an interesting post, so we're going to get into that, but make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, turn on that notification bell, and hit the like button for more Manor Lords. I think this indie dev has gotten tons of support, and that's exactly what I want here, but also for their message about, hey, everybody, here's what I'm trying to say, please don't let it get drowned out by all the content you're seeing, no matter how excited you are, and no matter how good some of these videos are to feature how to basically play the game, or what the features are, or whether or not you should get the game. Yeah, this is a little bit more important because this is what he's really truly trying to accomplish. Let's go over it. Now, one thing that's really important to clarify here, and I can't stress this enough, this is not a Steam exclusive game. It'll also be available on Game Pass, and Microsoft themselves reached out to Hooded Horse and Slavic Magic to basically get them to agree to put it on the Game Pass platform, and they did, and that just makes this even bigger than before. Biggest wishlisted game on Steam, then you can only imagine how many people will be playing this for free who already have Game Pass and are interested in playing city builders like this, who are aware of it being on Steam, but might want to try even the early access version before they get it on, for example, Steam, or also it'll be on GOG too, or GOG, and then also the Epic Game Store. So use code Raptoria at checkout when you get this one or anything through there. So essentially, this game is going to do two things, and it does it very, very well, being a city builder based in the medieval era, and also being a combat game based in the medieval era, and it really blends those two together well, almost seamlessly. That's one of the things that's very impressive for this game, is that it very much is a city builder that at a moment's notice you can hit a button, and then suddenly it becomes a combat game taking place in that very map or city or regions in which you're developing, and that is just incredible. There's no necessarily world map that loads in, or any sort of like really grand travel across all of Europe. In fact, you're just limited to small regions, and that's one of the things the developer wants to make clear, is that really you're fighting over a small area, regions within a county or regions within a maybe a country, but yeah, no Crusader Kings level stuff here, no Total War level stuff here. We're talking about troops of several hundred squads that are, I think, limited up to 7 at the time being, but again, this is early access too, to where that could all change later. A lot of people are asking for multiplayer, and I don't think this game necessarily needs that, or maybe will ever get that, and if it does, it'll probably be after 1.0, which will be many years down the line. And in fact, the developer did confirm that a console version will be coming, but again, that has to be much later, after major bugs and additional content are added. But for the time being, this game is truly it's really just an organic city builder. The road building, it lives up to that, being able to fit burgage plots inside of areas that are just kind of shaped like squares and triangles and trapezoids. It all works perfectly, and this is a feature I think we've all been wanting for years, and don't really know why it hasn't been in other games like other modern city builders, where you can build oddly shaped lots and have buildings fitting within a square, but then also building maybe parks or some sort of an urban space around it. But this game does everything very well, and I think that's exactly what it set out to be, a medieval city builder and also a combat game. And that is something that sounds so simple and yet is almost impossible for anybody else to achieve. Alright, so this right here is the bread and butter of the video. What I really wanted to talk about was to read the words from Greg, the developer, for this early access game. Manor Lords, again, is an incredible one, but one that the developer doesn't want everyone to blow out of proportion and misunderstand what he's trying to really do, which is a little more simple than it is complicated. And I think keeping things simple is difficult, especially in an era where everybody wants more features, more troops, more things like cavalry and catapults. Those are things that may be coming down the road, but again, hasn't said that there's a roadmap yet. So let's go ahead and read the words from Greg, and then I'll respond to it as we go, thinking and putting my thought and opinion into everything. So a few words from the dev before the launch into early access. Hey everyone, it's been quite a journey so far, but it won't stop on April 26th. During development, the core tester group was around 130 plus people. Given the popularity of the game, I'm pretty sure there is going to be a wave of feedback that I'll need to address after the early access launch. I wanted to address a few things for everyone who intends on buying the game on April 26th. Now, I must say so far in the 2 weeks that I've been playing, I've certainly encountered some minor bugs and glitches and some hilarious animation things. I haven't experienced a crash or any major game-breaking things, but there are certainly some things for feedback that I think will be day one feedback for the game. I think a lot of people will praise it and say, wow, this is great. What an amazing experience it's been so far, but what's next? And also I found some bugs. Well, same here. And so I've already given some feedback where I could, and there's also some things I think for the economy that could change, and I think that also is something that will have to constantly be rebalanced as this game develops. New items and new things to build and new prices for those things mean that they have to be readjusted, and in order to keep engaging the player, it's got to be good that there's no easy exploits or whatnot, like in Banished with all the firewood that you could sell to get money quick. Certainly you want it to be a constant battle, like a battle for survival, and so I think that's something that will eventually be ironed out as more things are in. Now let's talk about what the game is not. What the game is not. Manor Lords is not a Total War competitor. It's a city builder with battles. Yes, it truly is. Yes, battles are there, but not as huge or as frequent as some of you might expect. The majority of gameplay is focused on city building and management. Now that's interesting because there is a way to adjust how often you deal with raiders and bandits and whatnot. The game has 3 essential game modes: a prosperity mode, a restoring the peace mode, which is kind of like the main story, I'd say, where you must reclaim lands against an illegitimate baron that's featured in the trailers, and then also a mode called on the edge, where you're basically building a city like in the first prosperity mode, which is more peaceful, but you're doing it against constant invasions from barbarians and from thieves and bandits. And so that mode you can actually adjust how frequently that they attack, and so there is some control to try to turn it up so you can constantly see some action and death and destruction and maybe even lose some of your cities. So that's certainly something that's there. Now the dev goes on to say that it's not an empire management style grand strategy game either. The map has regions, but you won't be able to conquer the whole of Europe, nor have marriages or anything like that. The game is designed to play at a much smaller scale, which is true. It's not an RPG either. If you played Kingdom Come Deliverance or Mount and Blade, Manor Lords is a different type of game. There is a visit mode in Manor Lords which allows you to walk around your town, but it's an experimental cosmetic bonus feature. The game is really meant to be played from the bird's eye perspective, like a grand strategy game almost always should. There won't be any first-person gameplay. Now, it's all third-person in that visit mode, but honestly, to elaborate upon what Greg said about not really expanding upon that more until the future, I think if this expands into something that could be possibly an ability to walk around the entirety of the map via horseback, or really to even give your troops order from the third-person perspective where you're lined up with your cavalry and somehow can command your troops from that mode, that would be the greatest extent of what I could expect from that, and I think that would have an amazing impact. Right now, as it stands, you can walk around and you clip through people in some buildings and objects. It's totally fine. It is cosmetic. It definitely lives up to that. But if it is expanded upon more, I think it could be a feature that almost could be marketed along with the whole city building, the military, and then a combination of both where you could at least give orders to your people from that third-person perspective, at least from the military aspect. A little hard to build a city from third person, not being able to see the whole layout, but certainly being able to be with your troops, ride with them into battle, especially if there's a way to get them to follow the roads to the battlefield. I mean, imagine riding on your horse for like 10 minutes from your city to the battlefield of a different region. That would be a huge feature that I don't think I've ever seen before. Furthermore, the dev goes on to say it's not a competitive, fast-paced RTS like Age of Empires or StarCraft. A lot of the game mechanics focus on the aesthetics of your town, and resources take some time to be transported around the map. So that results in a mostly more of a relaxed experience with high-intensity moments spicing up atmospheric city building rather than the game being at high intensity all the time, which is true. Age of Empires is a little tricky because, of course, you're building a city, you're building nations and or multiple bases, could be representative of multiple cities, but it plays much differently. Your city in Age of Empires is more of a base where buildings could be substituted for something in StarCraft, as mentioned before, but this is certainly a game where it takes time to build up influence in order to claim a region, then call someone out, and it kind of has a little bit of that Crusader Kings element to it, even though he said that it's not, where you can't just mosey your military into a territory and say it's mine now and maybe someone will attack you. You first have to generate influence through the church or by destroying bandit camps. Then you have to press a claim on a region. Then you have to essentially wait if somebody's going to counterattack you for, which they could and more likely will. Then you have to go to the battlefield, fight the battle, then claim the region, then start building a city again, and the cycle repeats itself of then using that territory to build up another army, to build another manor, and continue to build up your retinue. And you can do that multiple times, and each city could defend itself separately via a militia. So yeah, building 3 or 4 cities and managing multiple cities at the same time, that's where this game excels. That's when you're really going to want to slow down the speed of time and focus more on trading and building things aesthetically. It's a really pleasing thing to do. Next time to talk about it being an early access release. This will be an early access release. Yes, it must be disappointing, but I think it's the right choice. It's my first serious game, and not only some stuff will be unfinished, but I bet you guys will ask me to change some things that you don't necessarily like. But I want to pursue an open development strategy on a back and forth between me and you. I think it worked great for the game so far, comparing to times where there wasn't even a testing group and I was developing in a bubble. Now that is a very impactful statement. Since the demo for this game, people have been incredibly active in giving feedback to the developer from that demo and also for the testing going on since then. And Greg has been incredibly active in Discord and also on Twitter and other places, taking polls saying, hey, I'm thinking about adding a day-night cycle. I'm not really feeling it. What do you guys think? And people are like, yeah, put it in. So the compromise there was to put it in as a cosmetic thing where it doesn't really cause people to go to sleep or really end the day in any way, shape, or form, because, of course, the time in this game is much more, much faster. Even on the slowest settings, years can pass in hours rather than in, actual days or whatnot. So, yeah, it's interesting to see that the development of this game is so open. The developer just with an open door and open arms trying to basically pitch something that he wants to add or change, and the community saying yes, do that, or instead do this, and this will be even greater after launch. The biggest thing here is, how are you going to take advantage of such a gold mine of great feedback from people who truly care about this game and take the best things? And I think the major things here will be, first, bug fixes and crashes that prevent people from having a good time from playing the game. That's going to be your number one thing, and then go on to more trivial things. Adding features and stuff I think should be last, and then that, of course, will continue the cycle all over again. It'll repeat itself as more things are added to the game, then more things must be fixed and rebalanced, that type of thing. The publisher and I recently shared the game with content creators all over the world. Feel free to check out numerous streams and Let's Plays out there before buying, to make sure this is the game for you. Now, a tremendous, probably the biggest mistake that the developer and the publisher has made here is right here in this statement. Rather than just referring to my channel directly and telling everyone to subscribe and hit the notification bell, he mentioned other Let's Play. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was a good thing. A little controversial. Some people a little disappointed that so many people got access to it, creating a lot of confusion as to what the release date would be. And even now, I'm constantly having to deal with, is the game out? Is the game free? What's the price of this game? At this moment, nothing is known. I'm, of course, recording this just before the launch, and we could have like day one discounts on Steam, and there, of course, is Game Pass too. So essentially, that's free if you've already got Game Pass, that type of thing. So truly, I think this game though has been a very smart way to manage things by giving people who are going to do reviews almost 2 weeks in advance to play this game. As they mentioned, this game is very slow and takes a very long time to play. So all the reviews out there that you're going to read or possibly watch should have, 50, 100, 150 plus hours in the game before they even review it. There's a lot to review for the city building aspect, then of course building multiple cities, and then also managing those militaries and bringing them together to capture more regions or just fighting bandits, that type of thing. So all these reviews here should at least have had plenty of time to actually get it right for this game and not just skim through on times 12 speed, build a crappy city, and then say, it was alright, without really truly trying to build a beautiful city, which this game allows you to do. It removes a lot of restrictions and actually works with you to try to help a city rather than presenting its rules and then a few tools to try to match it. They kind of are mixed together, and it really is the easiest game to build roads and like residential plots that I've ever played, seriously. But that said, the reception has been super positive so far, which I'm grateful. I think the game should find a way into the hearts of players who expected Manor Lords to be what it is, an realistic, organic, authentic city builder with real-time battles. I think that statement is very, very true from the developer. That is certainly what this will be. And for the people who are really, really excited what it could be or what they think it is, they just need to tone it down a little bit and let Greg work on things. And then, of course, modding way down the line in the future could really make this into a game that could surpass, perhaps, maybe, I hope at least, what you could do in City Skylines in terms of it being a heavily modded medieval city builder. Now, of course, that means we're not going to have cars and, airports, and the scale of it will be more limited just by the actual time frame and genre of it, but still, to be able to build incredibly detailed cities as if you were recreating something from Kingdom Come Deliverance, like the developer made mention of before. Imagine being able to go in and recreate actual maps from other games like Skyrim with so many different mods to turn it into a Skyrim city builder. Again, I'm just speculating this could be cool down the line. Don't know if it'll happen, but again, people see that potential here because the base game has so much care that there's so much to build onto, and I think it's going to be an easy one for modders to get attached to and want to make changes to and be motivated to make those changes. Going on to mention the roadmap now. Roadmap. I do not plan on releasing a roadmap yet. I've made a mistake once or twice before of promising and working on a feature only to find out that the testers didn't care as much as I did and they actually wanted something else. So even if I have a plan, I want to adopt the philosophy of listen, verify, implement. This way I can expect the first month of patches to be bug fixes and polish. During that time, together with Hooded Horse, we'll be collecting your feedback and then prioritizing work based on what we hear. I'm still considering whether to keep the testing of feature patches closed or opened. My current idea is to have an open pre-release beta branch. Oh, nice. So that everyone who owns the game could check and test the most recent pre-release unstable version of the game and contribute if they want to, and keeping the main branch of the previous most stable version. Though, let me know, maybe you'd prefer to keep this unstable version to a closed testing group. As always, thanks for following and the support. I'll certainly keep updates more frequent here once the early access officially starts. Have a good one, Greg. So that's everything the dev has to say about basically reeling it in and trying to keep expectations high, but knowing that the expectations will more than likely reach the hype, really, but trying to redefine what that means. Like, get excited for these things that are actually here, not what it could be, not what you think it is, but this is what it is. Let me redefine that. And that's a smart move. This is a city builder with medieval combat. It's a slow one, very slow burn, and there's a lot to do, but you're not going to be able to conquer the world with a massive medieval army or something like that. So that's a really smart way to put things together, and a great way to end it by saying, hey, I've got plans, but I don't want to publish it. Let's do things one at a time. Maybe I'll do a 1, 2, 3 thing and put it into a kind of a test version that everyone has access to. Let me know what you think of these 3 things. We'll implement what works, what doesn't. We'll put things back into the the oven that maybe need to be added later, or maybe people are completely disinterested in. And this, again, is a fantastic way now for everyone who buys the game to be able to essentially become a more advanced beta tester, too. Of course, the game is early access, so you'll be able to test the more stable branches and give your feedback on that. But then when new features are hinted, like cavalry or catapults or castle building, then you'll be able to give feedback and say, this is amazing, but also do this. Or, this isn't great, not really interested in this. Focus on something else. And this is a great way for us to have the developer focused on things that really matter to us now that it's a purchasable product. Up until this time, even I haven't spent $1 on this game, only just spending my time playing it. And so I think at this point, we can just kind of fantasize of what the game could be. But once you buy it, I think you have a little bit more vote in saying, these are the things I love, do these more, and these are the things I'm not interested. Stay away from that. I'm not interested in that. But anyway, so do I think this game will truly live up to the hype? I do. So long as your hype is in line with the developer's hype and saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. It's not too complicated, but it certainly has been difficult to keep it simple. And I think that really is the story of Manor Lords, where one guy has worked for 7 years part-time to try to make a game that is now going to release into early access, and hopefully with that release he will put this game as the first and foremost important thing and focus on making something that everyone will really enjoy over many, many years. So I want to keep this video short now and bring the kind of topic over to you. What do you think of the developers' plans for the game? Do you plan on getting Manor Lords? Is this a day one purchase for you? Is this something that you would wait? Or if you have Game Pass, do you use that to test games before you buy them on Steam, essentially try for before you buy? And honestly, my opinion so far is that if you've enjoyed watching my videos on this game, certainly try the game, and remember that you've got like 2 hours to return it on Steam, and or of course Game Pass again is a great way to test it out, and maybe it's something you'll come back to later. But I do truly think that this is a game, because of this scenario and the situation with it being a singular dev who's of course worked with other teams and other companies to do things like motion capture and the music too. Oh, the music, baby. Yeah, this has been a game that I think some man has had a vision and a dream, has tried to make a game that didn't exist, that was in this genre, and it could have been anyone. Anyone could have made this game, but so many games went for bigger and kind of more, not as in-depth. Really a lot of things to do, but kind of doing just it lightly. As we're here, the city building certainly feels like it is the primary focus, to at least make something look beautiful and have function and form at the same time. But you, let me know down below what you think of the game, and I would love to hear from you. So definitely blow up that comment section and what you think of the combat, what you think of the city building. Have you played it? Is this something that you've been following since the initial trailer drop, or is this something you're just hearing of? I really want to know from all of you down below. I gotta go. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Goodbye, everybody.